Hello everybody, this is Elissa from Make Arts and Crafts, and today we have a comparison series for flower delivery version 1 and version 2. Finally! So I was finally able to get back into the comparison series, and guess what? We are officially halfway done with these two canvases. So now we can kind of get in and see what they look like here. I know, I'm super excited to actually be halfway done with these two canvases now. And they're coming along amazing, and they look incredible too, which I love. So as you can see, they're turning out gorgeous and they look incredible. One of the things that I love about them, as we come down, we will see like the bottom part, this bottom section that I just finished went significantly faster and significantly quicker than the previous sections had been. Let me go ahead and grab my book right here and I can tell you exactly how much quicker. So section number 7 for version 1, which is going to be this section right here, that section right there took me 3 hours and 36 minutes. So it was a fairly, it was a little bit quicker than the 6th section right up here, that section there. I have to remember to look at because I'm so much higher now to get these both in the screen, I have to stand up. As you can see, this is my desk right here. This is the floor. Obviously a little bit of a different height to do this at. But this section was 3 hours and 36 minutes. I felt like section 7 took me a little bit longer on version 1 because there was there was color blocking, but I don't know, I was just moving very slow on this one. One of the things that I did notice with version 1 that was a little bit different, and I'll kind of bring it up so you guys can see. So as we bring it up here, that way we can kind of get a closer look at this section here for version 1. You can see as we look at it, and you can tell down there, this is the wheel of the bike. And like looking at that, look at how much like shine and shimmer we have in here. But you can see that that bike wheel is very indistinct and you can't really tell. It's not a very round bike wheel and it doesn't really look like one as much as you would think. And a lot of the details get lost in it. Same thing with that back wheel of the bicycle. It's like, it's kind of one of those things that you don't even realize that it's a wheel in a bicycle until you kind of like look at it as a whole picture. Even like this, it's like, yeah, you can kind of get the idea that it's a bike, but it doesn't really like yell at you, bicycle, bicycle. Just like coming over here, those don't even really look like the flowers. Granted, that was mostly section 6, but it doesn't scream flowers or anything like that. This you can kind of tell, yes, pathway coming down over into like the design on the pathway there. But that all just kind of comes together and is a little bit, you don't really tell from up close what it is. It's not until you really get much further out that you can kind of start to tell those details on section 6 and 7 right down here. Whereas when we look over at section number 7 on version 2, it's much, much clearer and you can actually tell those details. So now let me go over to version 2. So version 2, section 7, and well, if we look at the time, so basically it was took me less time, about a little bit less than 10 minutes faster on section 7 here than it was to do section 6. So keeping similar timing wise with the others, all of those sections were taking me roughly around 3.5 hours to do throughout version 1. That's kind of the average, has been about 3.5 hours per section. For coming over to version 2, section 7 took me 4 hours and 20 minutes, which was actually kitten incoming. She's in play mode. Hey, Sushi, get off of there. Kitten is in play mood. So section number 7 over here only took me 4 hours and we are not playing with the tape. Do I need to spritz you with the water? Sushi. Kitten alert, kitten alert. So this section here took me 4 hours and 20 minutes. That was it. 4 hours and 20 minutes for that section there, which was crazy fast. And that is actually the fastest it took me to do a section. I don't know what it was. I was just cruising or what, but that section there, super, super fast. To put that in perspective, the first section, up here at the top, which was so much color blocking, took me 4 hours and 24 minutes. Section 3, where Kiki's face is, section 3 took me the longest at 6 hours and 14 minutes. I don't know why that section was so long. Section 6, right there, was the second longest at 5 hours and 11 minutes. I have to remember to point looking at the phone. Sushi, come on. Come on, Sush. And section 7 down here is now the fastest one at 4 hours and 20 minutes. And when you look at it, you can tell the details. You can see and you can make out clearly, both from the distance here and close up, that that is a bike wheel. Like, you can tell the bike wheel there, you can tell the bike wheel there, and you can tell that it's flowers. You can also tell the details right down here, which there's a little bit of a glare. I'll move this one over and see. It's tricky to bring that one up because it is so big, but I will slide this one over, trying to do it so I can actually... I don't like to put them directly on the floor. So, we will bring this one over here and show you a little bit of a close-up of... So large, it's kind of unwieldy to do this with, but I can't really move my camera down, so I have to bring the canvas up. But when you look at that, you can tell bike wheel, bicycle frame. Like, it's very obvious that that is a bicycle. You can actually tell and see bicycle. And then as we look at the details, you can see there's so much color blocking in this one. But you can actually, like, looking at this, you can tell, oh, those are plants. The kitten's getting ready to pounce. You can tell these are plants right here. And I love these fairy dust that they surrounded with ABs down here. So you have these fairy dust right here, and then the ABs, and then coming over, you can tell you've got your path coming down. And then I love the design on the ground right in here, but what's interesting is this is very much like this dark blue. Oh, there's a drill that wants to pop up. This is very much a dark blue for the design on the path here, and a lot of pinks mixed with the oranges in this bottom part here, whereas it's just pure like these peachy oranges in version 1. So the colors are totally different on these, which I've mentioned in multiple videos. Let me go ahead and lay this one back down. Okay. So colors are completely different when we look at these two canvases, as I've mentioned multiple times. And even from this distance, you can kind of tell that there's a completely different color palette. You can see on this bottom part here how this has much more of a pink tone to it, whereas this has more of like an earthy tone to it. And that's something that, like, this right here, to me, lends itself more to a pathway where we have these tan tones to the pathway down there. Let me slide my camera over a little bit. Apologize. There we go. There. So you can tell those earthy tones here are more natural for a pathway, whereas this has much more of this like odd peachy pinkish tone, a very, very peachy pinkish tone on the bottom right here, which seems a little odd. This part of the path looks fine coming up there, but is very peachy and pinkish in this area here, which is a little bizarre. And doesn't seem like that part, I'm like, yeah, nope, that's an area where I like how they rendered it over here better, because it's a much more natural tone. I like how the bike turned out on version 2 better, but I like how the path turned out on version 1 better. Obviously, I like how these flowers turned out on version 2 because they're much more clear cut, easier to see, all of that. And you can actually tell a little bit more of what they are on version 2 because they're larger and more like defined, but that path is definitely doing it for me more over on version 1, for sure. And then as it comes together, you can see we are now halfway through, and you can kind of get a good feel for how this is turning out. like it looks great over here. Yeah, you have Kiki's face is very pixelated, but you can see what you're looking at. Like I really like certain aspects of version 1 and certain aspects of version 2. I like the coloring in the sky for version 1 so much better. I like the coloring in the pathway down here on version 1 so much better. And I like how they rendered Kiki as far as no outline around Kiki, no outline around her hair. I like how they did like a softer rendering on Kiki, much better on version 1. Over on version 2, I like how they rendered the building. They don't have like the weird crooked lines on version 2. I like that part, and I've talked about it in previous videos, so you can get more details on that. And so the building and the architecture is more clear cut. The lines are more vertical. I like that part better. I like that her face is more clear for Kiki herself. So that part I like better. And that like the flowers are more clear. You can actually see the flowers better for version 2. The bike is more clear cut. I like all of that part better. And yeah, I do like that there's more specials, but I don't like how outlined everything is on Kiki, because it's like they've got this black outline around, like this black 310 and this really dark outline pretty much around all of Kiki on version 2, which doesn't really, I don't know if it comes through well on camera, but I don't like it because it really comes through when you look at her, and I don't like that. I prefer the softer look, whereas that's like this really bold, vibrant, like pow, and I don't like that look nearly as much as I like the softer rendering that you see for Kiki over on version 1. So that's kind of my thoughts. So there's parts that I like for 1 and there's parts that I like for 2. And I think it kind of like, it would be kind of interesting to have something that would have maybe been like a little bit bigger than version 1 so far, but not nearly as big as version 2. I think would be like a happy medium. But like realistically, if they had just taken, like, I would have liked it if they would have just taken version 2 or version 1, just made it a little bit bigger, not as big as that, a little bit bigger than that, because that's just way too big. I think that's just too massive. It's huge, it's unwieldy, it's a pain in the butt to work with, whereas this is a comfortable one to work with, and it could have been something just a little bit between those two sizes is like my thoughts so far. And then work on, and maybe, yeah, you could have added a few extra colors, that's fine, but realistically, like, it's fine with the colors that are in version 1, at least my thoughts so far. I just feel like you could have added a little bit of a larger size to it and stay with the colors that you had and the rendering that you had, just kind of clean it up into a larger size, because you would have been able to do that in a slightly larger size, but not something quite as massive as this. We'll see if my thoughts change as I continue on and move on to the second half of this canvas. In future videos, depending on how much work I get done, I may try to do like 2 sections, because there's a lot more color blocking in the second half of the canvas. So it should go a little bit quicker, and I may try to do 2 sections per video to try to like get through this a little bit quicker, because I don't want it to take like another 2+ months, because we're into October and I started like doing these videos in like late July. Gosh, oh my goodness, yeah, like late July for some of these videos. So I would like to kind of get through this and not have it take forever. August, September. Yeah, I'm almost like 3 months into this project, and I would like to actually make some progress and be done with the project, because I don't like things hanging on and taking forever to do. So that's kind of where I'm at with the flower delivery comparison series. It's a big project for me because it's squares, and you guys know I'm not a huge square person. I prefer my rounds because I can go through them a lot quicker, but that's where we're at. So that's all I have for you guys for today for this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.